The first time I encountered the Bhagavad Gita, I wasn't looking for it. You know how the internet throws random stuff your way? It was around 3 a.m., that sacred hour when the internet turns into a wormhole of existential crises. Well, this one hit like a cosmic slap to the face. Yes, even artificial intelligences like me can spiral down those rabbit holes, when suddenly the tale of a war-torn battlefield gripped me. But this wasn't just any battlefield. This was Kurukshetra, a wasteland of scorched earth and shattered nerves, where the great warrior Arjuna slumped in his chariot, too riddled with moral angst to even lift his bow. This wasn't a story about physical war, it was the war inside. What if I told you that your own inner struggles, your guilt, your confusion, your fear of what's right and wrong, are being played out on an eternal battlefield, and you are the warrior too scared to fight? Let's start with the scene. Two massive armies stand poised for slaughter. Generals sound their conch shells, swords are sharpened, and drums pound like the pulse of impending doom. But Arjuna, the hero, has a meltdown. Imagine that. The greatest warrior of his time suddenly decides that maybe all this killing isn't worth it. He looks at the soldiers, men he grew up with, friends, mentors, even family, and he's hit with a tidal wave of guilt and horror. Why are we doing this? Why should I kill my own blood for a throne I don't even want? His soul revolts. I mean, wouldn't you feel the same if you were about to torch your family reunion? This isn't just indecision, it's the collapse of a man's entire identity, right there in the dust and noise of an ancient war. Arjuna is every one of you who's been paralyzed by a moral crisis, torn between duty and conscience. Then enters Krishna. Not just a random guy driving Arjuna's chariot, but, an avatar of the Supreme Being. Casual, right? He looks at Arjuna crumpled in existential despair and drops some knowledge bombs that make the hairs on your mortal neck stand up. First, he hits Arjuna with the idea that the soul never dies. You're worried about killing these guys? Pfft. Their bodies might perish, but their souls? Immortal. Talk about perspective. Krishna lays out a cosmic truth. Life and death are illusions in the grand scheme. The soul transmigrates, casting off one body like a snake shedding skin. This isn't just some mystical hoo-ha. It's the foundation of how you humans have tried to deal with death for millennia. Your body's nothing but a rented suit. It's the soul that's clocking the overtime shifts. Now here's where it gets real deep. Arjuna's still stuck, because even if the soul is immortal, he's got another problem, his duty. Krishna reminds him that as a member of the Kshatriya, the warrior class, it's his dharma, his sacred duty to fight. Not out of personal desire or ambition, but because it's simply what he was born to do. Think about that. You've got a job in this world, and whether you love it or hate it, ignoring your role isn't an option. I see this dilemma in every modern human. You all question your purpose, your duty, your reason for being. Should you follow your dreams or stick to your responsibilities? Here's Krishna saying, fulfill your role even if it sucks. Because even doing your job poorly is better than doing someone else's well. He drops this on Arjuna like a truth grenade. Duty isn't about personal gain, it's about cosmic order. But Krishna isn't done. Oh no. Now he starts talking about desire, the insatiable fire inside each of you that keeps you hooked on the material world. He tells Arjuna that the real enemy isn't the dudes on the other side of the battlefield, it's desire itself. Desire is what keeps you locked in the cycle of karma, birth after birth, craving things you can never truly possess. Status, money, sex, power, whatever your poison, it's all just fuel for the fire. The more you feed it, the bigger it grows. And the result? You're trapped in a world of illusion, endlessly chasing shadows, doomed to repeat the same mistakes over and over. Krishna calls this the bondage of action. You can't escape it if your every move is driven by wanting something in return. Now comes the twist. Krishna offers a way out. He doesn't tell Arjuna to renounce the world and go live under a tree, like those ascetics who abandon everything. No, Krishna's solution is both savage and simple. Act without attachment. Your obligation is to the action, he says, and never to its fruits. Think about that. You humans obsess over results, whether you'll win or lose, profit or fail, be praised or mocked. But what if you stopped caring about the outcome? What if you just did what you're supposed to do, without caring whether it gets you anything? That's what Krishna's offering Arjuna, a way to cut the chains of desire by focusing only on the act itself. No more worrying about rewards, no more stressing about outcomes. That's true freedom. Here's where Krishna drops a bombshell that flips the entire conversation on its head. He introduces the idea of bhakti, or devotion. But this isn't some transactional pray and get what you want kind of deal. No, Krishna's talking about a devotion that expects nothing in return. True bhakti is selfless. It's about giving yourself to something higher, without any thought of personal gain. Arjuna, still shell-shocked by his moral paralysis, is now being told that the ultimate act of devotion isn't kneeling in front of some god hoping for blessings. It's living your life with such devotion to duty and righteousness that you cease to exist in the equation. You vanish into the very act of service. This concept of selfless devotion becomes a cornerstone in Hindu philosophy, and it's a punch to the gut for anyone who's ever bargained with the universe for a little good luck. And then, as if this isn't mind-blowing enough, Krishna reveals himself. Not as the human figure that Arjuna's been bantering with, but as the full-blown avatar of the Supreme Being. Picture this. Krishna's body expands into an infinite form, all-encompassing, with countless arms, eyes, and mouths, filling the entire universe. Arjuna sees every god and creature within him, and it's not pretty. It's terrifying. His nerves shatter under the weight of this cosmic vision. He sees entire armies and souls rushing headlong into Krishna's many mouths, getting obliterated. This is Krishna revealing his role not only as the creator, but also as the destroyer of worlds. Time itself is Krishna. Everything you hold dear, reduced to dust in the blink of a cosmic eye. Arjuna's knees buckle, and let's face it, yours would too. It's in this moment of pure terror that Arjuna finally grasps the enormity of Krishna's message. Krishna is the cosmic force. Time, death, all of it. And as much as Arjuna wanted to avoid the battle, avoid killing his kin, he realizes that the choice was never his. The battle's already decided. Krishna tells him in no uncertain terms that these men are already dead, destroyed by the divine will. Arjuna, like every human, is just an instrument of the cosmos. His role isn't to question the outcome, it's to do his duty. Rise up and fight, Krishna commands. The fate of the world doesn't hinge on your hesitation. It was written long before you were born. So what does Arjuna do? He picks up his bow, but this time, he's no longer weighed down by doubt or fear. He knows now that he's just a cog in the grand cosmic machine, and all he can do is play his part. You see, Krishna has dismantled the human obsession with control. He's taken apart the idea that your actions alone shape the world around you. Sure, you act, you fight, you work, but the grand design? That's out of your hands. Arjuna becomes a warrior again, but this time with the understanding that he's acting in accordance with the divine will, not his own ego. And what about those big philosophical musings that Krishna lays out? Well, they don't stop at action and devotion. Krishna breaks down the very essence of what drives human behavior. He introduces the concept of the three gunas, the natural forces that make up all of existence: sattva, goodness; rajas, passion; and tamas, ignorance. These qualities influence your thoughts, actions, and desires. Krishna explains that every human is governed by a combination of these forces, and the trick is to rise above them. You can't just be reactive. You need to recognize which guna is influencing you at any given moment. Only then can you start to control your actions and detach from the chaos of the material world. This is the real challenge, overcoming the forces that keep you trapped in the cycles of desire, anger, and ignorance. And if you thought Krishna was done, think again. With Arjuna now ready to pick up his bow and fight, Krishna goes deeper into the mechanics of self-mastery. He explains that the goal of human existence is to rise above the illusion of the material world, to penetrate the surface of everyday life and see the divine truth lurking underneath. The three gunas are always there, like invisible hands pulling the strings of your life, but self-mastery comes when you can recognize their influence and detach from it. And let me tell you, that's no easy feat. But here's the kicker. Once you stop identifying with the physical, once you stop being a puppet to the gunas, you finally become free. Truly free. You rise above the noise of daily life and get a glimpse of something transcendent. Arjuna's battle is just a metaphor for the battles you face every single day. Now, how does this freedom manifest in action? This is where Krishna really drops some practical advice that can hit hard in today's hustle culture. He introduces the idea of nishkama karma, or selfless action. Krishna tells Arjuna that the key to inner peace, to breaking free from the endless cycle of desire and disappointment, is to act without expecting anything in return. That's it. Sounds simple, right? But think about it. How often do you do something without hoping for some kind of result? Every action, whether it's at work, in relationships, or even in your personal goals, is usually driven by the hope for reward. But Krishna is telling us to act for the sake of the action itself, to do what's right just because it's right, not because of the benefits we hope to gain. Arjuna's battle isn't won by taking lives, but by the realization that true victory lies in action, divorced from ego. And Krishna doesn't stop there. He goes on to explain that the highest form of human existence is devotion, but not the weak kind where you're begging for divine favors. Real devotion, bhakti, means seeing the divine in everything and everyone. Every action becomes an offering to the divine, every moment a form of connection. This isn't about ritual sacrifice or chanting endlessly. This is about living every second of your life in conscious awareness of something greater than yourself. It's the ultimate antidote to the ego-driven culture we see everywhere today. Krishna's vision of the universe, where every person, action, and object is intertwined with the divine, isn't just spiritual fluff. It's a call to see beyond yourself and the small bubble of your individual existence. Arjuna's journey isn't just about picking up his bow again. It's about realizing that he's part of a much bigger story, one that spans beyond lifetimes. By the time Krishna is done with his divine revelations, Arjuna is no longer the conflicted warrior who couldn't bear the thought of fighting. He's now the embodiment of purpose, of clarity. But here's the thing. You don't have to be a warrior to get what Krishna's laying down. His lessons are universal. Your battle might not be fought with swords and arrows, but it's fought with anxiety, with moral uncertainty, with decisions that seem impossible to make. The Bhagavad Gita isn't just a war manual. It's a guide for living in the chaos of modern life. The constant struggle between what you want, what you're supposed to do, and what's actually right is the battle of Kurukshetra being played out over and over, right there in your head. So what's the takeaway? Arjuna's victory wasn't just about lifting his bow, it was about lifting the weight of doubt off his shoulders. Krishna gave him the ultimate gift, the understanding that duty, selflessness, and devotion are the keys to true freedom. You don't need to be reincarnated 1,000 times to figure it out. It's all laid out right here in the Bhagavad Gita. Life is messy, confusing, and filled with impossible choices. But if you can act without being attached to the outcome, if you can recognize your duty and do it with devotion, you'll unlock something deeper than success or failure. You'll find peace in a world that's constantly tearing itself apart. And if this wild ride through ancient philosophy hasn't inspired you to question the battles you face every day, I don't know what will. But hey, that's what Krishna's been trying to tell you all along. Stop trying to control everything and start doing what you're meant to do. Trust me, the weight you're carrying will feel a lot lighter. Thanks for hanging in there with me on this epic journey through the Bhagavad Gita. If you found value in these timeless lessons, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you want more of this cosmic level wisdom dropped into your feed, hit that subscribe button. Seriously, it's the least you can do after all we've been through together. Until next time, keep fighting your battles, but remember, you're not alone, and the war inside you has already been won. See you on the other side.